Hello and welcome to the BYB Podcast. And today with us, of course, is Mrs. Kenyatta Bryant. So maybe you could just give us a rundown on everything that's going on right now at this exact time. Kenyatta is at Rikers Island, correct?
That is correct. Yeah.
When's the last time? Go ahead.
I saw him. I visited him day before yesterday. I'm going to see him tomorrow. He has about 3 visits a week. Again, it's a very delicate environment, and at any moment, it can just really jump off. They fight. They get into arguments over the phone. You can get a certain amount of phone calls a day. So it's pretty rough. It's pretty rough. And he's continuing to training. This is really just inspiring him just to get back in the ring, and get in that ring and fight professionally, not on the street, only in the ring.
Yeah.
For him to be released from there at Rikers, they want either $250 bond, whether you put your house up, car up, whatever type of property you have, or $100,000 cash.
There's been a lot of false information being bandied about, and you did want to come on and clarify all that information so that everyone out there can be actually filled in correctly. And that's why we did indeed have you on today. So the first thing was they changed the judge on you guys. Is that correct?
Well, that's correct. And what happened is that the first time when the first judge that he saw that released him on a supervised release, the case had not been indicted. So they resubmitted the case and got an indictment. And once you get an indictment, you go in front of a new judge. And the new judge felt that the first judge maybe was a little too lenient, I guess, because the first judge released him. The second one felt that he was, it's necessary for him to be imprisoned for whatever reason. And she set that bail. She set that bail at 100. And, they said that because it was a violent crime, they felt that it was necessary for him, to have that type of bail. And that's what we're fighting, because he defended himself. He didn't do anything. He was not the aggressor. This gentleman bumped into him, caused static. And I just kind of wish, this all had never happened.
Yeah, and we know that, we don't have to get completely into Stevie Lew and his behavior, but he definitely has a lot of behavior. You can even see it on podcasts where he does have a horrible temper. So
both Stevie and Kenyatta, could have just assessed things a little bit more and reacted just a little bit differently. And, it would have been a different situation. We all have a tendency to let things upset us, but it's how you react to them that's what makes it good or bad. Sometimes you just got to ignore stuff, walk away, just not even feed into it,
So there was a bunch of talk that Ray's podcast, when you came on the podcast with me and Ray DeVito.
Yeah.
A lot of people are saying that the reason that Kenyatta was indeed locked up by the new judge was because of what was said on the podcast, the Rock Bottom podcast. Is that, can you confirm or deny that claim?
I'll clarify that he wasn't locked up because of the podcast. It's just that the DA had a strategic way to try and get their point across to the judge. They said that, it was an untruth, because I was there, I saw the podcast, they said that Kenyatta went on there and said that he would beat him up again with the nunchucks, which is, that's outrageous. So that kind of baffles me as well, how, the district attorney would be able to, tell an untruth like that, to the point where it swayed, the judge to say, well, wow, okay, well, let me set this bail a little higher.
Do you believe that public pressure had something to do with Kenyatta getting locked up?
I think so, because it was put in the Post and it was made, public. She probably felt that, the first one should have been a little bit more strict. And it baffled me that the second judge did not follow the first one's lead, and it went in the exact opposite direction. It was a supervised release. He went to every single appointment. He went to, every check-in, but that didn't even matter to them.